There are sneakers. There are famous sneakers. And then there are Air Jordans. For more than 40 years, one story has helped define the legend of the very first Air Jordan. Michael Jordan wore a pair of black and red Air Jordan 1s. The NBA banned them. The league fined him every time he wore them. And Nike happily paid the fines. It's one of the greatest stories in sneaker history. There's just one problem. That's not exactly what happened. And somehow, the real story may be even better. Welcome to Black Soul Collective, where we preserve the stories, traditions, wisdom, and life lessons that continue to shape our community, one meaningful conversation at a time. Today, we're going back to 1984. Michael Jordan was only 21 years old. He had just left the University of North Carolina and entered the NBA as the third overall pick of the Chicago Bulls. Nobody knew yet that he would become Michael Jordan as the world would eventually know him. And Nike certainly wasn't the basketball giant we associate with Jordan today. In fact, Jordan reportedly preferred Adidas. But Nike saw something extraordinary in the young rookie and offered him something unusual. Not simply a shoe endorsement. A signature line built around him. Before the Air Jordan 1 was ready, however, Jordan needed something to wear on the court. Enter the Nike Airship. During the 1984 preseason, Jordan wore a black and red version of the Airship. The problem was that NBA uniform rules of the era required players' shoes to conform much more closely to their team's uniform and to one another. Jordan's black and red shoes stood out, and the league noticed. A February 1985 NBA letter later referenced the red and black Nike shoes Jordan had worn during an October preseason game as violating the league's uniform rules. But notice something important. Those shoes weren't the famous Air Jordan 1. They were airships. And that's where history and marketing began one of the greatest partnerships sneaker culture has ever seen. By 1985, Nike was preparing to release Michael Jordan's actual signature sneaker, the Air Jordan 1, designed by Peter Moore. The original shoe sold for around $65. Today, that doesn't sound particularly shocking. But this wasn't just another basketball shoe. The high-top silhouette, bold colors, Nike swoosh, and New Wings logo gave the shoe an identity of its own. Then Nike did something brilliant. Instead of running away from the controversies surrounding Jordan's black and red shoes, they ran straight toward it. One famous commercial presented the shoes as something the NBA didn't want Michael Jordan wearing. The message was irresistible. The league might stop Michael from wearing them, but it couldn't stop you. And just like that, a uniform violation became rebellion. A basketball shoe became attitude. And marketing began turning a complicated story involving the Nike Airship into the legend of the banned Air Jordan 1. Over the years, another part of the story became famous, that Jordan was fined $5,000 every single time he wore the banned Jordans and Nike simply paid the bill. That version has been repeated so often that many of us grew up believing it was settled history. But documented accounts don't support the story quite that neatly. What is clear is that Nike understood the value of the controversy. And Michael Jordan gave them something advertising alone could never manufacture. He was spectacular. During his rookie season, Jordan averaged more than 28 points per game and won Rookie of the Year. People weren't simply watching the shoes. They were watching the man wearing them. And soon, those two things became almost inseparable. But the Air Jordan story didn't remain on the basketball court. That's where this becomes part of a much larger cultural story. Young people wanted Jordans. Hip-hop embraced Jordans. Sneaker collecting grew. What somebody wore on their feet could communicate taste, status, individuality, and belonging. And particularly within Black American popular culture, Jordans became something much bigger than athletic equipment. You didn't have to play basketball to understand what a fresh pair meant. For some families, getting that new pair before school started was an event. For some kids, they represented aspiration. For others, style. And eventually generations who never saw Michael Jordan play his rookie season would still know exactly what that jump man represented. That's cultural influence. The Air Jordan 1 helped change the relationship between athletes, shoes, fashion, and marketing. And the partnership between a young black athlete and a major corporation helped demonstrate just how enormous the commercial power of an athlete's personal brand could become. Today, the original Air Jordan 1 is no longer simply an old basketball sneaker. It's an artifact of sports history, a fashion icon, a piece of sneaker culture, and yes, a legend built partly around a myth. But maybe that's the most interesting part of the story. The Air Jordan 1 didn't need the band story to become important. Michael Jordan's talent was real. The shoe's influence was real. Its impact on fashion and sneaker culture was real. And the generations of people who made Jordans part of their own style and culture were real. The myth simply gave an already remarkable story an unforgettable beginning. So the next time somebody tells you, the NBA banned Michael Jordan's Air Jordan 1 and fined him $5,000 every time he wore it, you can smile and say, well, pull up a chair. There's a little more to that story. And around here, those are exactly the stories we like to tell. If you enjoy discovering the history behind the things that shaped Black American life and culture, subscribe and join us here at Black Soul Collective. Because sometimes the things we've seen our whole lives have stories we've never been told. And we're going to keep finding them, one story at a time.